Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tacy P and today I am back with another Canada video. So if you're new here, you can tell by the title, I am an international student currently living and studying in Canada, and I do videos to tell you guys about, ways how to get your study permit, ways how to come to Canada, what documents you need. And so today in this video, I'll be telling you about the study permit, how to actually apply for a study permit and come to Canada. Now, if you're new here, I've actually done some videos before, or if you haven't watched those videos and you are interested, go ahead and watch those videos before you watch this video so that you understand the documents you will need for applying for a study permit, why you should come to Canada, the documents you'll need to apply for Canada, and stuff you need to do for school before you actually come here if you're coming here on a study visa, right? No long talking, because this video is going to be filled with tons of information, very important information, and all this information that I'll be telling you or breaking down to you, you can find it on the Canada Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship website. I'll put that website on the screen and I'll leave it in the description below. Everything is there for you, but I'll just be giving you just a breakdown of how I had to do my application. But take in mind, I applied about 3 years ago, so the application process may be a bit different now, especially seeing that there's a whole pandemic outside. There's a lot that has changed, but I'm going to tell you how I came to Canada so you can also come to Canada to study if you want. First things first, I have to clear this up for you guys. A study permit is not a visa. Okay, so a study permit is basically a document that allows foreign national students to study in Canada at a DLI. If you don't know what a DLI is, go ahead and watch my previous video. Usually for a valid time, usually for the length of your program, sometimes less or more depending on how long your passport will be for. Or you can actually come to Canada. What you need to come to Canada is a study visa, and that's basically a stamp from the embassy in your passport saying that you are allowed to travel and you are allowed to travel for study. Now, the first thing is, a study permit costs 150 Canadian dollars. So if you're definitely sure about Canada, you have applied to the school, you've gotten accepted, and you're moving on to the next stage of applying for your study permit, make sure you have that $150 on a credit or debit card, a valid credit or debit card, which you can easily pay online. Now, in the past when I was applying, you had the option of applying on paper or online. Honestly, for me at the time, I wanted to do things on paper, because if I made any mistake, it means I could always correct it and just fix it. On paper doesn't mean you're gonna use pen and fill it out. It just means that you're gonna complete it online, but you're gonna print off the documents and take it to the embassy. Online means you'll do everything online and then they'll process it from there. Process for getting yourself your study visa is going to vary from country to country. So for some people it may take longer, for some it may take a different time. For some places you may have to fill out a different or additional documents versus other countries. So I'm from Jamaica. I'm telling you what I had to fill out as a Caribbean national in order to come here to study in Canada. Currently they are saying that applying online is the best option. Where I have the option of applying on paper or online, right now applying online, whether inside or outside Canada, it's best to apply online for a study visa right now. You can only apply online if you are disabled or you have some type of illness where you're not able to do it online. Once you go on the website, they're going to ask you if you want to do it online or paper. Once you select online, they're going to ask you where you're from, whether you're inside or outside of Canada. If you're outside of Canada, it's likely that they're going to ask you what country you're in. Different countries are going to have different documents to fill out. They're going to have varying processing time, so this is why they need that information to section you out from where you're from other people, right? Now, some other things that you will need that they don't really tell you, but you have to make when applying for Canada, applying for anything in Canada really, whether it's a permanent residence, temporary visa, study permit, you're gonna need quite a lot of money. So make sure you are ready for this process, okay? Because trust me, I had to go through it. There's something called your biometrics, which is basically your fingerprints and a picture of yourself. It's just they just want to clarify that this is you. You're going to have to pay for that, which is 85 Canadian dollars. More family members coming, it's gonna cost more money. More people are carrying with you, it's definitely gonna cost you more money. For me, I was able to do my biometrics the same time I went to giving my entire application. Probably for different places you'll have to do your biometrics separately, and on the Canadian website they'll tell you where all of this information is. Now, another thing that you will definitely need is a police certificate, right? And in different countries they're gonna have different ways in which they did it. For my country, we only have like I believe 3 or 4 places that you can get a police certificate from, which is basically a police record saying that you've never been in any type of criminal activity, or if you have been in a criminal activity, which one, and if you're able to come to Canada. Bank statements do cost, because I remember I had to pay the bank, my parents had to pay the bank to get a statement saying that this is so and so. And you do need your transcripts. For me, my school charge, every school charge for transcript, right? So you definitely have to pay for transcripts to get stuff like maybe some photos. You may need a couple photos. I always say keep some passport photos on you all the time. If you're going to need it, keep at least 3, so in case they ask you for one. I do believe they did ask me for a passport photo when I went to my application. And transportation, wherever you live, to go into all these places, they're gonna cost money. Whether you drive, it's gonna cost gas money. Whether you take the bus or the taxi or whatever, it's gonna cost money. So I'm just telling you all the little funds that you're gonna have, so make sure you have them so that when you're doing this, you don't come across a roadblock which will stall the process for you. These are the forms that I had to fill out at the time, right? So the different forms are: 1, application for a study permit; 2, family information form; 3, statutory declaration of common law union. The next one is a custodian declaration. They also have a use of a representative form, a document checklist, and a visa application photograph specifications. That's just telling you the type of photo that you need for the entire process. Now, on the application for study permit made outside of Canada, I'll also put a picture of what that looks like. No, they ask you for the language you speak, obviously, like any regular form. They ask you for your family name, your name, any type of information, you know, your date of birth, where you live. All these stuff are on the application study permits, which you can find on their website. So the details of intended study in Canada. So there's a whole section asking you about the school you're going to study, what you're going to study, like what level of study. So is it a degree? Is it a master's? The field of study, is it information technology? Is it business? Is it science? The address of the school. So you definitely want to know that, especially if you're not in Canada. Make sure you have all these information written down, so when you're doing the application. And for me, it took me some time, and I didn't have a laptop or internet at the time, so I had to go to the internet cafe like every time, pay money for hours of just sitting down, filling out, making mistakes, filling out again. You also need to have, I should have said this at the first time, if you're doing it by yourself on your own laptop, you're definitely gonna need Adobe Reader to download all these files, because it was a task. There's a place that asking for the designated learning institution number. Now on the website there is a section for this, so once you know the school you're going, just go on the Canadian website, look for the name of the school, and punch in the designated learning institution number. This is what's going to clarify to let them know if you're actually studying at a DLI. You're going to need your student ID number, when you plan to start and when you plan to finish the course, the cost of tuition, room and board. So if you plan to live on campus, or even if not, you're going to need to have that. Funds available, you have to have the entire funds available for the stay. So make sure that entire funds, make sure it's over remember they say you have to have $10,000 personal for yourself, right? Not including the tuition. So make sure whatever money you have, whatever calculation you're doing, it's way over, and you can show proof that it's quite a bit more than what you need to study. You're going to need an education background. So what high school did you go? Did you work prior to this, or did you just go to school? For me, in the employment section, I just added my school because I was just going to school, right? For the family information form, you're going to have to fill out information about each of your parents. So if you don't live with your parents, or your parents are not together, you got to get all the information you need. You have to get their date of birth, their country of birth, their marital status, their occupational status. All of these information will have to be filled out. So if you're not close with your father, you're not close with your mother, if you have siblings, you have to put however many there is, and you have to fill out the country of birth, their date of birth, their address. You have to put all of that information. So just make sure that all of this information you have. They also ask you, will these people be accompanying you in Canada? You have to tick yes or no. So if you have siblings and they're coming, then you have to tick yes. If they're not coming, then you have to put it and you have to tick no. Remember, you're gonna need your passport. There's a whole section there talking about like your passport and filling out information on your passport. A part there that asks for national identity documents. I didn't know what that mean, and that was a whole problem for me because I filled out the entire thing, and once I went to the application center, I went to the embassy to process my application, I was turned away. Yeah, my very first time going to apply, like I already gotten through for school and everything, I got turned away because, not because they didn't want me here, but because I made a mistake on the application. Now remember, I was doing all of this by myself, and this is what I'm saying, like if you feel it's best to do it with a travel agent, fine, by all means, but if I can do it, so can you. Now I was turned away. I didn't have to, like I didn't lose any money. It's more so transportation, certain things they'll want to know. So if you've tried applying for Canada and it never worked out, they might ask you that question. All of these questions that you can think of that will be on the application permit, as well as your family permit. Remember, there's an authorization release form. So for me, I had a family member, like I said. So if you have somebody who you're close with, definitely put them on so they know, you know, just so they can have the information as well as you too. If you don't trust somebody, then that is fine. And yeah, definitely print off your document checklist to check that you have all these things so that you don't make any mistake. Statutory declaration of common law union. So if you're in a common law relationship and you're coming with your partner, or I also think if you're not coming with your partner, I think you still need to fill that out somewhat if you want. It's a custodian declaration. So this is if you're a minor. So if you're under the age of 18 and you want to come to Canada to study, and yes, you can. If you want to come here and go to high school, you can. University, college, you can. As long as you're able, your parents are able to sign that and say that you're coming by yourself, or you're coming as a minor, then you're gonna need that form to fill out. Now just keep in mind that application process for a study visa can take up to 3 months or maybe more, especially with a pandemic. For me, I think mine took 2 months. I got back my passport in 2 months, and they're going to keep your passport, they're going to keep all of that. That is how they're able to put the stamp in and so forth. So mine took 2 months, and then I had to go back and do all my collection and everything. Yours might take a bit longer, yours might take less time, so just be patient. You'll get that email that you're getting it. When you arrive in Canada, this is when you'll be handed your study permit. This is a picture of what a study permit looks like. It's basically a paper stating why you're here in the people them country, how long you'll be staying for, what you'll be studying, and list of stuff that you cannot do with your study permit. And that's gonna be a whole nother video, so stay tuned. But when you arrive to Canada, in order for you to get your study permit, there's a couple things that they want to see that you have before you can get it. So that includes having your valid travel documents, such as a passport with your study visa stamp. So having your port of entry or letter of introduction. This is a letter which will be sent to you by the visa office saying that, you know, you're allowed to come to Canada and so forth. Definitely make sure you have that. Sometimes I had a biometrics paper too, I think, or a card. Make sure you have that to show that you have your biometrics. Have a copy of a valid letter of acceptance. This is why I tell you guys, make sure you copy everything, photocopy everything, double photocopy, right? If you have to. Make sure you have enough money for your stay. It can't be over a certain amount. That is also stated, so definitely do your research on that. Make sure you're in good health, especially now with a pandemic. And it says here that you should be able to convince your immigration officer that you have ties back at home, where you will be going back home when you're done. Even if you're gonna be traveling back and forth, as long as there is proof. And I feel like once you're a student, they'll always take you because you have your family back home, your mom, your dad, everybody's living back home. That's always something to prove that you're going to go back home when you're done. And definitely you're going to need proof that you are fully vaccinated. Now luckily for me, in my time, I came here when there was no pandemic, but because I got here in the better days doesn't mean that you can't come. So my entire process for, you know, applying to school, doing everything, took approximately 10 months before I got here. Yours may take longer and yours may take a shorter time. It differs with everyone, but I just feel like if you really want to come abroad to study, Canada is a really good place for that, and doing it the right way is always the best thing. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comments. Once again, thanks for coming back to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys. Mwah.